Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. It's National Shredded Wheat Day, Tony. Do you like shredded wheat?
I'm Tony Kornheiser, not really, but my nickname in college was Shredded Treat. Huh? What do you think of that?
Oh,
good.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you did there. Shredded. Did you eat that cereal as a kid? Wasn't there some shredded wheat cereal that was all the rage?
Yes. I think I had it once. I hated it. It was like wheat. It looked like it was all wires, and you dipped it in milk.
Like a Brillo
and
pad.
It just,
you know?
Yes, and it really wasn't any good. And now, sadly, I resemble shredded wheat after being dipped in milk for a long period of time. Very lumpy and falling apart. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Padres beat Clayton Kershaw. Team USA's women beat Belgium in basketball. And the NFL exhibition season kicks off tonight. But we begin today with the Paris Olympics and the women's all-around gymnastics competition. A tight contest with Brazilian Rebecca Andrade all came down to Simone Biles' floor routine, which she nailed to win the gold. Andrade took silver and American Suni Lee won bronze. Wilbon, your reaction to Biles' performance?
Tony, I don't know that this, as spectacular as it was, changed anything. I mean, going back before Tokyo, and then Tokyo was a different place for Simone Biles, not her happiest place and best time. And then she has this comeback in which she's just extraordinary, and all of it, to me, seems to add up to being the GOAT. There's so many things that are overhyped in sports, which is to say everything. Everything's exaggerated. Everything is overhyped, over-celebrated. Simone Biles surpasses any hype. She does. For me, I watched her and Katie Ledecky. And to me, Tony, they're on sort of the Mount Rushmore of American Olympic athletes of all time. And I like watching them, and they seem to have for so long in their sports where people used to go maybe twice, once for the greats, maybe twice, and they just keep going. And so I put them, yes, in that same sentence as just people who, when you watch them, you go, oh my God, how great is this to watch something that justifies the yelling and the screaming and all the superlatives. And Simone Biles, and I know you were into this live this morning, so I'm gonna let you get into the specifics, but she always surpasses it. That's my reaction to her.
So I did watch this. I mean, if you're going to write a movie, this is the movie you write. You know, Simone Biles in the finals. Everybody thinks she's the greatest of all time. She probably has reason to think she's the greatest of all time. She sits there and she watches an American member of the team go out and post a great number and take over the overall lead. Suni Lee took over the lead. And then Andrade comes up, and Simone Biles is watching this. She's right there. Then Andrade comes up, and she posts a spectacular number. She takes over the lead. Now it's left to Biles. She's last. She's in the anchor position at this point, right? And everybody knows the number she has to hit because they show the number she has to hit on her routine. She knows it. We all know it. And she blows the room away. I mean, the number is something like 13 something. She goes to 15. It's her great moment, Mike. It's how she reacts to pressure. If you want to say she's the greatest of all time, I'm not going to argue with that. I don't know the sport well enough to make that claim, although I think generationally athletes always get better. I would have her of a piece with people like, Olga Korbut and Nadia Comaneci and Mary Lou Retton. And you like to say this, that they are way up there. They are all together way up there. Yeah. Champions.
No
They're champions.
About it. Absolutely. Let's move to baseball. And the Padres closing the gap on the Dodgers. San Diego lit up Clayton Kershaw for 7 runs, 3 earned over 3 2/3 last night. The first start in Kershaw's career, his whole career, Tone, in which he did not record a strikeout. So, the Padres take a 2-game series and have now won 9 of 11 since the break. Are you giving the Padres a real shot to make up that 4.5-game deficit on the Dodgers and actually win the NL West?
Let me get to Kershaw first. This was his second start of the season. Obviously, it was a clinker. You gave the statistics. 3 2/3, 6 hits, 7 runs, something like that. Not all earned, of course. And no strikeout for the first time, Mike. He had gone 423 straight starts. All the starts of his career had at least one strikeout. It's the major league record. He didn't get any. So this wasn't any good. But you and I talked about this yesterday, and we said it's his second start of the season, and we don't place that much value on it. Now, to the larger question, can the Padres catch the Dodgers? Well, of course they can. The teams have 52 or 53 games left. They're going to play 3 games head-to-head in the last week of the season. The Padres have won 7 out of 10 from the Dodgers so far this year, so why can't they catch the Dodgers? They can.
They can't. And they've had some success against the Dodgers head-to-head, something called the playoffs. So they're not running scared. They're not. And everything the Padres do, they're starting with their front office, which has traded away every prospect, it seems, for 100 years
That's right.
to go after this right now. I don't know whether I like that strategy or think, oh, my God, this could come back to kill you like it has the Lakers since winning that one championship in the bubble in 2020, and you trade away like 8 or 9 guys who might make a run for you several other times. But okay, you can sit there and play that game as long as you want. Do you like the approach? The Padres are going for it. They are as talented as the Dodgers. I know you get Mookie Wilson back. You get other people back, and maybe the Dodgers are the more talented team. Maybe they inch ahead. But, Tony, this should be something we should like watching now that we're at the 1st of August. You got August and September to watch real pennant baseball, old-fashioned the way it used to be with rivals, geographic rivals going after each other. Yes, I think the Padres can do this.
They can. Look, I like the Dodgers more. But the Padres can do this. They just picked up, as you say, they go for it right now. They just picked up a couple of great relievers, right, in Tanner Scott and Jason Adams.
Well, they're bullpen.
They picked up
Bullpen's
Luis
loaded.
Rise earlier this year. Yes, I meant in the bullpen. They picked up a Rise this year. I think they picked up Dylan Cease this year. They go for it, and they have real talent. They can catch them.
do.
I like the other team better, but it's a real race. We have football tonight. And let me speak for 200 million American sports fans and say, thank God. It's the Hall of Fame game. It's an exhibition. It doesn't mean anything. The Bears coaching staff won't even put their starters on the field. Maybe the Texans won't either. But it's football of a sort, and it's ushering in the football season. Well, but above all, you are a Bears fan. Can you give me one reason to be intrigued by tonight's Hall of Fame game?
Nope. I'm a Bears fan. That's it. Bears fans and Texans fans have reason to be intrigued. That's it. That's all. And I'm not one of the people who sits around praying to the gods for football because I like all the other sports that are in real time. And so right now that for me goes to baseball after the Olympics. But this is my team. I'm as excited about this team as I have been since 2006 at least, maybe 2010. They got to an NFC title game and lost to the Packers. But yes, the starters apparently will not play tonight. It's okay. I'm interested to see the 2s and the 3s and the camp guys who you want to see if they're justifying any of the hype and who's going to be a great backup and who might emerge. And what about this pass rusher from, a rookie chosen in the middle round? All that. And the Texans fans have that too. But if you're outside that, there's no reason for you to give a damn. I wouldn't care if this was, the Chiefs and the Broncos. I wouldn't care at all. So I'm not one of those people that needs to see football at all costs. I am happy to see the Bears get started with this. It's the first of way too many preseason games, the first of 4 for the Bears.
Yeah, we've gone over this, and you know that I think Caleb Williams should play. I believe that the most important thing for a rookie is live game action reps, but I accept that there will be 3 more games for the Bears, and I will resist the possibility of saying here that your Bears coaches are scared, to use one of your words. I find it amazing. I still find it amazing that you went out the other day and said, please tamp down the expectations on Caleb Williams. Because you spent all last year rooting against the Carolina Panthers, hoping that they would finish dead last so the Bears would get the number 1 pick, which you knew would be Caleb Williams. And you may have said at times that you would keep Justin Fields. But I know in your heart, you love Caleb Williams, and you're rooting for Caleb Williams because you got that high school connection. There is one thing I want to see tonight. I want to see the new kickoff rule, Mike, because like you, I want there to be kickoffs. I don't want there to be automatic touchbacks all the time. I want to see if this thing works. And in fact,
aren't you
love kickoffs because you had Devin Hester, who's going to be there tonight. They ought to put him in a uniform and let him return the first kickoff.
I'm glad you mentioned that real quickly. Devin Hester, one of the all-time greatest kick returner in my book. You've got Steve McMichael, who's God knows ailing, and just want Steve McMichael to be able to enjoy this and get through it. And Steve McMichael on the 85 Bears team, a starter and a star. You got Julius Peppers, who wasn't on the Super Bowl teams, but Julius Peppers in a Bears uniform. That's a lot of
all
Bears.
You're about is the Bears.
And so, again, I'm excited. I don't expect others to be excited.
Let's take a break.
And a lot of defensive
you can give us the
players,
whole roster in the break. Coming up, why is the United States struggling in 3-on-3 basketball?
And Gordon Hayward is retiring, 5-on-5 basketball. Is it fair to remember his career mostly for a shot he actually didn't make? Yeah,
I'm probably not going to watch this game tonight, but I'm glad we're starting with it. I'm glad we're starting this season. It's been dormant for months and months and months.
Pardon the Interruption is brought to you by
In a controversial call, we're giving you emailers a second segment this week. I was opposed to it. So let me see what's first.
I know you voted against that, I know.
Why do you think the United States teams struggle in 3-on-3 basketball?
Okay, let me be perfectly honest. I've given zero thought to 3-on-3 basketball. I've given zero time watching to 3-on-3 basketball. Even though I have Peacock and can watch everything, I ain't watching this. That's like watching synchronized diving or synchronized swimming or synchronized anything or break dancing or ballroom dancing in the Olympics. It shouldn't even be there. And I presume, Tony, I know there are rules that sort of make you lock in, and you can't just parachute the best players in because you don't like what your result was this year and say, well, let's get Kevin Durant and LeBron James and Steph Curry and let's make it okay.
Right.
Those aren't the rules for this, and therefore you can't do it. So who knows who has the best players? And sorry, I'm not going to deliver a scouting report because I ain't paying attention.
Yeah, I would ask the obvious question, why is 3-on-3 basketball an Olympic sport? It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I agree with you about that. We can't put our best players in it. Let's take a guy who would be great, a guy who's got nothing to do this summer, Jaylen Brown. But you can't put him in there because apparently you have to have qualifying points, like the world golf rankings. You have to have qualifying points for 3-on-3 basketball.
That's okay.
Because there's some sort of worldwide league that nobody in the United States cares about. Would I watch this if it were on my television screen and I walked into the room? Yes, I would for 5 minutes. But like you, I don't care about it. And honestly, Mike, I don't know why we're not better. I think we should be better than we are. I think.
More mail. That's always our answer in basketball. We're the best. We're the best. We don't want to actually have to prove it necessarily. That's right. But we're just the best.
We are the best. We are the best. Is it fair to remember Gordon Hayward's career mostly for the shot he barely missed?
You know what, Tony? I think it is because that team was so good, and they, took Duke to the final, and they were so good back-to-back, Brad Stevens coached teams, and Gordon Hayward was a star of those teams. The missed shot also represents what that team was. Not what it wasn't, not a failure, but how close it came at a time where going into that tournament, nobody had Butler getting to the finals and playing Mighty Duke. Now, his career also had something that I was there for, Tony, and that's breaking his leg, a gruesome, gruesome injury in Cleveland, his first game as a Celtic. And I was sitting about 20 feet away and watched it, and I always just thought that Gordon Hayward persevered through a lot. And because of those two moments, I think more of him. I think this guy had a smile on his face. He had a wonderful attitude. He was a terrific player, once an all-star, played 14 seasons. Good for Gordon Hayward. He had a hell of a career, however you want to remember it.
Yes, he was a fine player. He averaged 15 points a game in the NBA. As you said, he made one all-star team, a fine player. But if the question is it fair to remember him for a shot he missed? The answer is absolutely. Had that shot gone in, it would be the most famous shot in the history of college basketball. It would have won the national championship over Duke. For Butler, let me repeat this, for Butler, okay? He launches from half court, it hits the backboard, it hits the rim, it could have gone down. I'm sorry, Mike. That's an immortal shot. I don't care what else he did. That shot is an immortal shot. Everybody remembers that shot. And like you, I think there's a certain honor in the fact that he took it and he almost made it and they almost won the national championship. I do think there's honor in it, right?
Wonderful
Enough
career
female.
for Gordon Hayward.
Let's take one last break. Still to come, the number 1 seed in women's singles goes out at Roland Garros.
And the U.S. women's basketball team takes on a team that nearly beat them a few months back.
Everybody's going out in the tennis. Everybody's going out. All the high seeds are going out. Now, I don't know if it means anything to them. You know, I don't know what it means. I just don't. Happy time, people. Happy 35th birthday, Madison Bumgarner. Sneaky young. Bumgarner is being paid $14 million by the Arizona Diamondbacks, where he last pitched last year before being released in April. Bumgarner made 4 starts, pitched 16 2/3 innings, and didn't get many outs, posting an ERA of 10.26. He hasn't pitched at all this season, though he reportedly told friends he was contemplating a possible return this summer. Bumgarner is one of the great postseason pitchers ever. He was 8-3 with a 2.11 ERA for the Giants. And if you think that's good, how does 4-0 with a 0.25 ERA in the World Series taste? It tastes like 3 rings.
Yeah, it tastes like Hall of Fame, Tony, even if he doesn't throw another pitch. But you know what? If he'd hung on with Arizona, he'd have had a shot anyway if he'd been there the whole season at a 4th World Series, because Arizona did at least get that far. But what a career. I mean, I thought Bumgarner might have another couple of years in him, you know, late like your favorite Warrior God. You get to 39, you can see it from starting pitchers, big, strong guys like Madison Bumgarner. Appears to be over, but Hall of Fame for him.
By the way, Arizona was the best team in all of baseball in July. Happy anniversary, Kevin Durant. On this day 13 years ago, Durant showed up at legendary Rucker Park in New York City and dropped 66 points. Durant said it was one of the greatest days of his life. The highlight shows Durant in an orange uniform, making every shot, outside and inside, throwing fabulous passes. The Rucker League, played outdoors, is one of the great proving grounds in the urban culture of basketball. Almost every street baller in greater New York with ambition has gone there to play and establish his legend. Some actually do, like Julius Erving of Long Island. And as we know, Durant is otherwise occupied this summer.
Tony, I don't know if this is direct cause and effect, but the Vegas Summer League has just sucked the air out of the room, meaning the summer of basketball. Because, yes, there was the Rucker League in New York, but there were other Urban Coalition in Washington. I covered it as a beat for the Washington Post the whole summer. You didn't just go to Vegas and watch kids who were being drafted. You watched big stars who would play twice all summer. And sometimes they take a helicopter into that city, land somewhere nearby, and be whisked to some outdoor gym where 2,000 people would crowd the court. It was great. And now what's happened? I don't even hear these things anymore. That would be a loss for the culture, for the cities, and for ball.
You're being kind calling it a gym. It's an outdoor court, often with metal nets or no nets. Happy trails to the Olympics for Iga Swiatek, the number 1 seed in 2021, having won 3 straight French Opens and 4 out of 5, and she was in tears during a post-match interview. Elsewhere, Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic both advanced to the men's semis and could meet in the finals, and Americans Rajiv Ram and Austin Krajicek made it to the men's doubles gold medal match.
Well, Tony, Djokovic is hoping he can hold up. He appeared to hurt the same knee that required surgery just 2 months ago and said, and I quote, "I am worried." That's not a good sentence if you're Joker.
Now, let's go to the big finish. The United States women's basketball team beat Belgium by 13. Are you impressed?
Yes, impressed, Tony. And, maybe it'll be their closest game. Maybe. That'd be even more impressive if we look back and that's the case. Hideki Matsuyama leads after the first round of Olympic golf. Your thoughts?
He shot 63 today. Xander Schauffele is second, 2 behind. Scotty Scheffler is 4 behind, I think. You know, he's a great player. He's a great player, Matsuyama. Chargers say Justin Herbert will be in a boot for 2 weeks to treat a plantar fascia injury. Cause for concern, yes?
Tony, maybe not today, but I mean, if you go more than 2 weeks and he's still dealing with that, then you start to get worried as you get closer to September. It's August 1st. Let's not get nuts. The Bucks and left tackle Tristan Wirfs agreed to a new 5-year deal, $88 million guaranteed. Is that significant?
Yeah, he's the highest paid offensive lineman ever. Last one, your White Sox can't lose tonight because they're not playing. You must be happy about that.
Tony, they started a 3-game series with Minnesota, and they could be swept. They've lost 17. Do I hear 20 in a row? I hope not.
We're out of time. We will try and do better the next time, and I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts. And now...
PTI.